Chasing the Falconers, Chapter 8. Meg could hear it now, the great lumbering locomotive, the rumble of many hundreds of wheels, and the screech of brakes as the engineer slowed down to take the bridge. The roar drowned out the sound of the helicopter, and it was growing louder. The vibration grew so intense that Meg was positive her teeth were jarring loose. The train hurled out onto the steel span above them. The noise was unimaginable, the squeal of metal on metal far louder than any jet engine. It was as if the bridge itself went into convulsions, shaking the falconers like rag dolls in the mouth of an angry terrier. Robbed of all but the barest consequences, Meg shut her eyes and squeezed the girder. A single thought played like a tune through her agony. Mom and Dad will never find out what happened to us. The wild vibrations acted like novocaine on her body. Numbness set in. She could not feel the girder. Her eyes blinked open, and she realized in horror that she was no longer there. She was falling. And then she was in cold water, shocked to awareness and choking. The compulsion to swim for air was automatic. She broke the surface just in time to see a huge cannonball splash beside her. A second later, her brother bobbed up. The caboose cleared the bridge, and the noise began to fade as the train moved off. "Are you okay?" Aiden sputtered. She nodded. "The chopper?" Treading water, they both peered up from their position in the shallow of the bridge. The helicopter was gone. The crisis was over as quickly as it had come upon them. Typically, Aiden was agonizing over their close call, shivering and reliving every moment of the ordeal. Leave it to him, Meg thought, to obsess over something that didn't happen. "Aiden, we made it," she interrupted. "What's the big deal?" The big deal turned out to be this. They now had to finish their long walk to Gibbon in drenched discomfort. The day was warm and sunny, but dusk was at hand. The clouds of mosquitoes rose from the fields, looking to light on any damp surface. The t-shirts dried after an hour or so, but the pants stayed soggy, clinging, chafing. The shoes didn't dry at all, squishing and oozing with every step. The night was hideous. Aiden stumbled along the tracks, his arms windmilling as he slapped at the dozens of mosquitoes attacking his body. "Do you have to do that?" Meg muttered into the deep darkness. "They're mosquitoes, bro, not piranhas." "It's easy for you to say. They're not eating you alive. I've got fair skin, and the water attracts them, you know." She was unmoved. "If you didn't want to get wet, you shouldn't have fallen off that bridge." "I didn't fall off," he retorted, killing 3 bugs with one slap. "I jumped off to rescue you." Meg bit her lip. Who was she crabbing at? The only person who cared what happened to her. Soon it was every bit as dark as it had been the night before, that suffocating, unbroken blackness that made them feel they were the only two people left in the world. At least tonight they had the tracks to keep them on their course. Just before midnight another train came by, this one a westbound freight. Hiding amid the wheat, Aiden noticed in the passing glow of its single headlight that both his arms were covered in raised whelps. The word itch didn't do justice to the feeling. But the real enemy was not the mosquitoes, nor the chafed skin, nor the aching feet. Lack of sleep was catching up with the falconers. They had dozed only a couple of hours in the hayloft. The rest of the time they had not only been awake, but on the run, operating at top awareness and energy. If we can't get a few hours rest, something awful's going to happen, Aiden thought numbly. But how could they stop now? Miserable as it was, darkness was the best time for them to travel out in the open like this. If we could only make it to Gibbon and stow away on a freight train, then we could get some sleep. They saw their first electric light at about 2 a.m., a bare bulb outside a barn that housed a fertilizer wholesaler. Other signs of civilization flicked ahead. "Is that a town?" Meg asked in dismay. "Probably just the outskirts," he told her. "There's supposed to be a train station around here somewhere." As they plodded along, the lights became more plentiful, and houses and low buildings appeared. At last, there it was, a small, low, shed-like structure next to a level street crossing. On the side, a single lamp lit a one-word sign, Gibbon. According to the schedule posted on the bulletin board, the first eastbound train of the day would stop here at 4:48 a.m. "It's perfect," said Aiden. "It'll still be dark with not too many people around. We can sneak into a boxcar without anybody seeing us." "That's 2 hours from now," Meg calculated. "Let's find a place to grab a nap in the meantime." "No naps," Aiden was adamant. "If we fall asleep now, a train wouldn't wake us unless it was running over our heads. We can't let the sun rise on us in this town. This is the first station east of Sunnydale." "Well, we can at least see if we can get into the station. I'd give anything for a real bathroom." The lock turned out to be broken, and they slipped inside with no trouble. Just enough light was coming in through the high windows for them to make out wooden benches and a small ticket and information kiosk. By feeling her way along the wall, Meg located the ladies' room. No lights, Aiden reminded her. He sat down on a bench. No sooner was he settled into the seat than his eyelids began to droop. He stood up quickly. Great, he thought. Now I can't even trust myself to relax for a minute. There was a rustling sound behind him. He sat down sharply, no longer in danger of dozing. Stay cool, he told himself. It's probably just a stray cat or a squirrel. Then it came again, and this time he was positive he heard a footstep. Somebody was in there. His imagination swelled with visions of muggers, murderers, and gangsters. But even if it was merely a homeless guy looking for a place to crash, that was almost as bad. He and Meg could not be seen by anybody. Avoiding sudden moves, Aiden shuffled over to the ladies' room and opened the door part way. Hurry up, he whispered softly. Huh? Said Meg over the sound of running water in the sink. Let's go, Meg, he hissed. Now! At the sound of her approach, he grabbed her wrist and began hauling her to the exit. There was the pounding of running feet, and the Falconers ran too. Aiden was reaching for the knob when the other figure slammed into him, driving him back into his sister. The three tumbled to the floor. A split second later, the intruder leaped on top of Aiden, pinning him. Aiden felt metal, cold and sharp, pressed against his throat. A weapon. A rush of terror shot through him, and he found himself looking up through the wide eyes at the face of Miguel? Eagledink? Meg's foot snapped out of the darkness and connected with the side of Miguel's head. The blow knocked him off Aiden and into the station door. In a lightning-fast move, he was on his feet again, brandishing a sharpened screwdriver at Meg. Aiden jumped in between them. It's only my sister. She didn't know it was you. A dark-haired boy lowered the weapon. Little sis packs a wallop. He squinted in the darkness from face to face. I'm impressed, Eagle Dink. I thought a wimp like you would be back at Sunnydale helping the Soups clean up the mess. Shows what you know, Meg said belligerently. Miguel nodded. I was worried after what I said at that time about the fire being a fire trap. I figured you'd be dimming me as a pyro. I know you didn't do it, Aiden muttered tight-lipped. Yeah? How? Miguel's mouth dropped open. Eagle Dink? You? I was just bluffing. You must be bugging to really try it. It was an accident, Aiden insisted. However it happened, Meg put in, we're not going back there. Amen to that, Miguel agreed fervently. Hope this train's going to Jersey. The sooner I get to my brother's crib, the better. Where are you guys headed? Delaware, said Aiden at the same time as Meg said Virginia. Oh, you don't trust me, Miguel grinned, taking mock offense. Who can I tell without giving myself up? Like I care where you losers go. Hey, anybody hungry? You've got food? Meg asked anxiously. Miguel pointed to a dark shape behind the information desk. Candy machine. We don't have any money, said Aiden. My treat. Miguel jammed the screwdriver into the tool slot of the coin box and pried open the metal plate. Quarters cascaded onto the floor. Aiden and Meg exchanged a look. They weren't thieves. Their honesty was what separated them from people like Miguel. He read their minds. You've got a lot of integrity for arsonists, he commented, investing some of his ill-gotten gains in a Snickers. Remember, nobody's going to give you a reward for not robbing this machine. Aiden hesitated. Was he crazy to think of himself and Meg as being better than Miguel? The three of them were fugitives, wanted by the law, and they were all guilty of stealing. The civilian clothes on their backs proved it. What was to be gained by denying themselves a couple of Mars bars? He and Meg were in a desperate situation. The odds against reaching Vermont had to be astronomical. It made no sense to tip them further. Why refuse nourishment just to preserve the fine line between themselves and Miguel? It probably didn't exist anyways. Why not? He said with a twisted smile. Meg had already scooped up a handful of coins and was stuffing them into the machine. Miguel watched in amusement. That's the spirit. It's a long way to Delaware. Or Virginia.